Another podcast by the Burning Donuts. Known on police record as a brony slash anther artist, the Burning Donut is really Aaron Ring, his dual identity known by anyone who checks out his online galleries. And now, to protect freedom of speech and to produce some kick-ass artwork, rides the Burning Donut.
Hello! Broadcasting as live as possible in recorded format. It is, well, me. I am currently recording in the new and improved Dog vs. Zombie Studios located now in, can you guess where? Is it Kennewick, Washington? Because that's where it's always been before, right? Right? And we can't take change, right? Right? No. It's Bend, Oregon now. Pause for effect. Okay. Yes, it's just me. It's just me, recording, kind of doing a journal podcasty thing. As most people know, I do want to try to get into podcasting more and things like that. And, I'm trying. All right, so first, I guess let's get some of the journalistic stuff out of the way, kind of the things that have been happening to me, the actual audio journal part of the show. Yes. Okay, so as most people know who have actually, been paying attention to what I've been doing, who've read my journals or postings and stuff and paid attention to stuff, like my Facebook and my Twitter and everything else like that. And it's like, my journals on FA and DA and GA and TA and BA. Anyway, I am currently living in Bend, Oregon. Now, as most people know, Bend, Oregon, I guess not as most people know, but as a lot of people know, Bend, Oregon is kind of like a miniature Portland, Oregon, because Portland is the hipster place to live. You know those people. They're always wearing like a black fedora, have the wallet chain, and a neck scarf for like no reason. They'll ride around on some vintage or on a bike that looks like it's supposed to be vintage, but really it's not. Or maybe they'll do even worse and drive a Prius. Anyway, it is a very hipster kind of town. It's unique in a couple ways, and I'll say one thing about it is that that's my chair squeaking, not me farting. In case it actually picked that up, I don't know. All right, it is interesting in that the quality of bicycles people own. Like in the Tri-Cities area, generally the only people who owned bicycles were poor. The people who couldn't afford to own a car. In Bend, Oregon, it's almost cool to ride a bike instead of driving a car. So it is true that it is a very bike-friendly town. And I don't live that far from my work. The problem is that the bike path has massive hills, and my BMX bike is not really designed for going up hills, and at least me on my BMX bike, not designed for going up hills. All right, so why did I move to Bend, Oregon? A lot of people ask. It's like why? Why would you do such a thing? Would you just randomly up and move? Because, well, my brother is trying to start a business in Bend, Oregon, and he needed someone to work for him. It's actually a very, very interesting idea, because essentially what he's doing is he builds custom pet furniture. And I mean, it's like for the longest time I have been trying to come up with anything to make and sell and make money off of, and somehow he's actually found something that people will actually like and buy. And it's interesting because the one thing I didn't know is that like the cat furniture that you get from most pet stores, or you can go to a pet store and get like a cat tree, and they're made out of like total crap. I mean, they're made out of press board and cardboard and every other kind of board, maybe even a 4chan image board, which wouldn't surprise me considering the quality. And like the thing is, like he will actually get lumber and actual carpet and like real screws and nails and good old fashioned lumber, and actually make a really decent cat tree. And it's cool because like since he owns a business rather than ordering templates or something, I don't know, you can order special custom cat furniture. Like I heard someone ask for, they were talking about they had a dog that they like to bring with them, and they didn't have any place to put it was one of those like little dogs, like one of those little dogs that the Hilton sisters or something would have in their little purse. And they mentioned something about that they were driving a van for their business, and they wanted a nice custom little bed for their little poopsie to sit while in the van. And, that is exactly the kind of thing he would do, Now, there is one initial problem with when you're trying to start a business, is that before it becomes popular and famous, you're broke. Now, the advantage is that, like, I come here, I work for him, and he is pretty much guaranteed that my rent is paid. So it's like, okay, cool. So, we come down here, move down here, and get a place to live, and he's pretty much says that he pays the rent, and however, anything else is my responsibility, which, I mean, is cool. The thing is, like I said, everything else is my responsibility. So that means that my gas, my phone bill, and everything like that, guess what? My responsibility. My car insurance, my phone bill, my the gas to get to work and back. I mean, it's really not that far of a drive. And honestly, he's more than willing to pick me up and take me to the shop. It's hard because like I said, until the business becomes popular and you actually start making money off of it, you're broke. You're dead fucking broke. You have no money. You have like nothing. Okay, so that basically, it is kind of cool because he basically also says that I have time, that like I'm fully allowed to work on my artwork even sometimes during quote unquote shop hours, and just do whatever I can to make money on my own, whether it sells skateboards or sell artwork or commissions or whatever. So unless I get commissions, I am kind of screwed. I mean, pretty much I've already had to get rid of my GPS just to pay my phone bill. My phone bill was the last problem. Because, yes, we're poor. I'm working on trying to get a bike. I have contacted this place called the Bicycle Restore. Basically, I live less than 3 miles from work. Like I said, Bend is a fairly bike-friendly town. So there are bike paths and bike thises and that's every which way possible. The problem is that the only bike path that leads to work and doesn't take me in like the road where people will kill me has massive hills, and massive hills on a BMX bike are just not fun. So I've been contacting this place called the Bicycle Restore, which is like a place where they donate bikes and stuff, and they've said that they actually have to build me a bike since they don't have anything my size, And so I'm still kind of waiting on that. But honestly, my brother really has no problem picking me up for work and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's nice. All right, now, I guess that's enough about like my journal part. I'm gonna try to discuss some fandom-oriented stuff here. There is one thing that I've been seeing a lot about fandom. Okay, I got to say, for those that actually care about my life, this is probably the part where you would want to stop listening. For those that actually want to hear a cartoonist talk about cartoons, this is actually the part you want to listen to. All right, so let's see here. Let me see if I can bring it up here. All right. As most people know, I am a fan of the cartoon My Little Ponies. Not the original with the My Little Pony, that you see the spring is here. No. I mean, like the new one, which is called My Little Pony's Friendship is Magic. And as most people know, pretty much anyone who's seen my artwork is fully aware that I am a fan of the show. And one of the things that has been like popping up is the discussion of the season finale episode. Now, in this episode, one of the main characters, essentially Twilight Sparkle, becomes an alicorn. Now, one of the things that always bugs me, particularly about this fandom, is people are really quick to jump on rumors. And because, like, I remember when season 2, basically came out, everyone remembered, Discord being voiced by Tom Delancey, and, all of a sudden all these rumors about, like, this Star Trek guy was going to be doing a voice, and William Shatner was going to be doing a voice, and Leonard Nimoy was going to be doing a voice, and all these people were all going to be doing voices, and it never happened. Because that's the way rumors are. Basically, this whole Twilight Sparkle thing has become what the internet refers to as a shitstorm, because so many people are so dedicated to this fandom that anything changes and they're just like, oh my gosh, no! Twilight Sparkle's going to become an alicorn! No, that's not cool! Okay, first off, probably about 90% of people don't even know what the hell an alicorn is, okay? You have to explain to them it's a Pegasus unicorn princessy thing that, yeah. Anywho, so everyone is like freaking out about this. Now, as the show has been going on right now, the way the last few episodes of the show have not been that great. To me, the show kind of feels like it's coasting on its own momentum and will eventually come to a stop. And everyone who calls themselves a brony is going to have to go back to calling themselves a furry. And, it's like... But my feeling is kind of like this. It's basically that the show has existed for 3 seasons. Okay? And unless something changes about the show, it's going to get old. There's almost no way that you can have any show be good for more than 4 seasons. In fact, most even live action shows will only last 5 seasons. But what I'm saying is that something about the show has to change, and I mean there are all kinds of things. It's like they're hinting at things. When you're an overbearing fan person, you'll hear mention of a new princess, and you start thinking like, oh, it's going to be a new series. They're going to have a whole bunch of new stuff. All this crazy stuff is going to happen. It's going to be great. It's going to be like the greatest show ever. And it'll be like, excuse me. But that's often not the case, especially when it comes to a kid's show. Now, my theory on this, and again, this is my theory, because I doubt very much. What I would like to see happen is that because the show has existed, something has to change. If anyone knows other shows that have a huge fan following and have been going on for quite a while, they change. perfect examples are Super Sentai, otherwise known as Power Rangers in America, the Kamen Rider series, and of course the one probably most people are actually going to recognize when I say them is Doctor Who. Essentially, something changes at a certain point, and you're introduced to new characters. The plot line suddenly has a slightly different personality, and you can move on. You can, it's pretty much like saying, okay, we're done with these guys. We're done with this cast. We're done with this storyline, and we're moving on to the next one. And the thing is, the whole Brony fandom has kind of like exploded so fast. And it just doesn't even really have that much to work with. It's essentially like a fandom based off of like one chapter of a TV show. I mean, like, imagine like an entire like Star Trek fandom that was only based on Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's it. There was no Star Trek before, no Star Trek, no Star Trek Enterprise, no Star Trek the movie, no Star Trek Deep Space Nine, no original Star Trek, just The Next Generation. To me, that sounds like it would get pretty boring pretty fast. Because the people who are fans of the show, they don't like the original show, and it's like, pretty much, so that means you have like an entire fandom based off of 6 freaking characters. 6 characters. And then like the rules of what you can and can't do with those characters is sometimes so extreme. There's only so much that can be done. And this is a fandom that has existed for almost 4 years. Or 4 seasons, okay? And it's like something is bound to change. And okay, now I'll tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see the series either A, have a spin-off, or B, start new. Because it's a good series. I love it, don't get me wrong. But like I said, something has to change. The fandom has kind of gotten to the point where they're like, you can only remix the same song so many times, or you can only make so many revisions of a Twilight Sparkle plushie before you suddenly realize, like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just Twilight Sparkle again. All right, so now I've heard some interesting theories about this. Some people say that like the series is gonna, pop to the future a bit, and like, the Cutie Mark Crusaders will be like the new like part of the new main 6. There's other people who say that like, that will say things like, it's going to be a branch to a spin-off series. There's people who say all kinds of stuff. My theory as to what's going to happen is it's going to be like a 1-episode thing. She will go completely back to normal, and this cartoon will be right back to, which is like a shame, because this is like the first season that really kind of sucked, because it's like the first 2 episodes of the show were fantastic. All right. The first 2 episodes of season 2 were fantastic. The final 2 episodes of season 2 were fantastic, and had a fair amount of pretty decent episodes in between. And then season 3, and it's like, oh, look, a bad guy, but not really, because you don't get to see him, and nothing really is happening. Okay, so Twilight Sparkle is supposed to learn that she's not supposed to depend on herself alone because someone else ran that extra 20 feet to get the... Yeah. Okay, and the amount of episodes, I don't know. Just the episodes of this season just haven't been great. The Pinkie Pie episode, that was the first one after the two season starter thing, was kind of I have to admit, I really liked, the one I did like though was the Wonderbolts Academy episode. I've actually been in the military myself, and I was kind of able to relate to a couple things that some people probably missed with it. The endings of almost every episode has been incredibly lackluster, but it's a kid's show, and you can't really expect perfection out of a cartoon. I mean, seriously. The last two episodes, just, it wasn't great. It's like, oh, look, it's going to be Discord. It's going to be fantastic. No, he's just kind of, okay. Anyway. So that's pretty much, I mean, basically just everyone calm down. There's no reason to be wigging out about a possibility of a character being or not being something else. It's just a show. Even if you like it, calm down. Things change. Move on. Okay. I actually hope that something changes because, like I said, the show's coasting on momentum right now, and the fandom is kind of like, there's such like an extreme saturation that unless something happens, it's kind of just it's gonna be like, in a couple of years, people are gonna be like, oh, dude, do you remember that brony craze that was going on? Yeah, that was crazy, right? God. All right. So now. Alright, so that's pretty much my views. That's what's going on. Check out my... Let's see here. How should I end this? I should come up with like a really fancy ending. Like, okay. Alright, thank you all for listening. And please check out my Twitter at www.twitter.com/theburningdonut. Check out my Facebook, which is also The Burning Donut. Check out my Furfinity, my VCL, my TV and art, and everything else. And guess what the name is attached to all that? That's right, The Burning Donut. Pretty much just Google The Burning Donut and you'll find me. So, yeah. Alright, so that's all. Donut out. Goodbye.